Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going deep on a figure who's practically synonymous with disruption, Elon Musk.
Yeah, he's hard to avoid these days, isn't he? Whether it's electric cars, space travel, or even those controversial tweets.
Definitely a headline magnet. We've got a mountain of research here trying to get a grip on his achievements, his flops too, and what drives him.
What I find fascinating is he's not just content with being a tech CEO. He's trying to reshape entire industries and sparking these huge debates, everything from, like you said, AI to, well, woke culture. His words, not mine.
Right. That's what makes this deep dive so juicy. We'll get to those controversies for sure. But to kick things off, there's this one thread that really hooked me Musk's political journey. He was a solid Democrat once upon a time, even fundraising for Obama, Biden, Clinton, the whole crew.
It's true. He even called himself half Democrat, half Republican back then. But 2020 hits and something shifts, especially with those COVID lockdowns messing with Tesla's California factory.
The articles paint this picture of him going head-to-head with California officials, calling them dictators, anti-democratic. His fight with Senator Lorena Gonzalez over worker safety at Tesla is pretty wild.
Yeah, Gonzalez slams Tesla publicly, and Musk's response is just message received. Cold. Days later, out comes that take the red pill tweet. Like, what was he signaling?
And Ivanka Trump jumps in with Taken. Was that calculated on Musk's part, or was it genuine? It makes you wonder what was going through his head.
Pure speculation, but it fueled all sorts of talk about his motives. Then things get even more strained with Biden, despite Musk initially supporting him. Tesla moves HQ from California to Texas. Feels like the peak of that whole saga.
Texas, huh? Business-friendly, less regulation. Makes sense on a practical level, but was it purely strategy, or did his politics really shift that much?
Hard to say definitively, but people definitely raised eyebrows. It's almost like a whole other chapter in his public persona. Speaking of which, we got to talk about his very loud opposition to what he calls the woke mind virus.
Right, and it's interesting how this ties into that political shift. He sees woke culture as this threat to Western civilization, even blaming it for his son, Xavier, transitioning.
He's not shy about it, that's for sure. Links woke culture to free speech being stifled, meritocracy dying, even compares it to the fall of past civilizations. Pretty dramatic.
It's a bleak view, right? Some say he's oversimplifying things, missing the nuance of complex social issues.
Yeah, critics call him out of touch, promoting a view that ignores systemic problems, but then his fans see him as this, like, free speech warrior fighting back against, I don't know, oversensitivity.
And then there's the Twitter takeover, which he framed as this whole fight for free speech. Was it part of battling this woke mind virus he sees everywhere?
It was definitely viewed that way by a lot of people. Another layer on top of this already controversial image he's cultivated.
It's like he's got multiple fronts in this culture war, using his companies, his influence, to challenge the mainstream. And this brings us to another area where Musk is both fascinating and kind of scary: artificial intelligence.
Right, deeply involved in AI with Tesla, but also one of its biggest critics. How do those two things even coexist?
Well, the research mentions this key conversation he had with Demis Hassabis, the DeepMind guy, at, of all things, a birthday party. Seems like that's what really sparked his AI anxieties.
From what I gathered, they were talking about the future of AI, and Musk gets increasingly freaked out about, unchecked development. Google buying DeepMind, that really bothered him. Too much power in one place.
So it's this fear of one corporation controlling this insanely powerful tech. And that's what leads to OpenAI, right?
Exactly. He co-founds it as a way to, like, democratize AI, make sure it's developed ethically, a counter-move against Google's potential monopoly.
But even that partnership gets messy. He clashes with Sam Altman, the other OpenAI founder, and eventually leaves.
Altman decides to make OpenAI for profit, and Musk sees that as a total betrayal. Like, profits over ethics, not cool.
It's interesting how his AI worries mirror his woke worries, this fear of a dominant force, whether it's a company or an ideology, calling all the shots.
It's definitely a theme, right? It probably comes from his whole belief in individual freedom, not trusting those big, centralized power structures.
And so he launches his own AI company, XAI, and that open-source chatbot, Grok. Is he trying to build a good AI, one that fits his vision for a better future?
That seems to be the play. XAI is positioned as the OpenAI, alternative transparency, responsible development, all that. And Grok is taking on ChatGPT directly.
It's a battle royale in the AI world, showing that Musk isn't just talking, he's taking action, even if it means going up against the biggest tech giants out there.
It's clear Musk likes to stir the pot, right? But all this AI and social media stuff sometimes overshadows his other big thing, Tesla.
Tesla, yeah. Electric cars went from, like, niche to mainstream thanks to them, but it wasn't all smooth sailing, was it?
Oh, definitely not. Late 2010s, Tesla was practically on life support. Bankruptcy was a real possibility. People weren't sure if electric cars could, really cut it compared to gas guzzlers.
Must have been intense. The research talks about this crazy bet he makes with Tesla's board back then. That's got to be more than just financial pressure, right? It's like his whole vision is on the line.
Yeah, it was a gamble, big time. He basically bets he can take Tesla's market value from 52 billion to, wait for it, 650 billion. If he wins, he gets a payout of 56 billion. Loses. No salary.
Whoa, that's more than a bet. That's a statement. He's putting it all out there for his belief in electric vehicles. Talk about high stakes. What pushed him to make that kind of move?
I think it was beyond just money. He wanted to prove everyone wrong, to really change the car industry forever. He sets this goal, produce 5,000 Model 3s every week. At the time, that seemed impossible.
And to get there, he comes up with this algorithm, is what they call it, a 5-step process to supercharge production. The reports get super detailed about it, maybe too much for us regular folks. Can you break it down?
Sure. So step 1 is called interrogative 8. Basically, you question everything, every single step, every part. Why are we doing this? Do we really need this? There's this story where he sees them putting this fiberglass strip on the battery pack. Ask what it's for. Turns out it does nothing for noise reduction, which was the supposed purpose, so boom, gone.
No mercy. So it's about stripping away anything that's not absolutely essential. Sounds brutal, but effective. What's next in this algorithm?
Step 2, cut the clutter. Once you figure out what's useless, you get rid of it. Streamline the whole production line down to the bare minimum.
Ruthless efficiency. And step 3, more of the same, or does he switch gears?
Step 3 is simplify to amplify. Now you're focusing on the things you can't get rid of. Make them as efficient as possible, streamline and simplify to save time and resources. So it's not just about cutting, but also optimizing what's left.
Okay, so steps 1 through 3, it's all about cutting, simplifying, maximizing efficiency. Step 4, what's that about?
Speed it up, that's step 4. Now you're looking at how fast things are moving. There's a story about this robotic arm that's crawling along. Musk tells the engineers to get it up to 70% speed. It was at 20% before.
Whoa, that's a huge jump. So he's really pushing his team to find those creative solutions, right? So what's the final step in this whole overhaul?
Step 5, automate with purpose. This shows how Musk thinks about automation. He's all for it, but not blindly. Some tasks humans are just better at. So he's willing to replace robots with people if it makes sense. Kind of surprising, actually.
More human-centric than you'd expect from a tech-obsessed guy, right? Okay, so did it actually work, this algorithm thing? Did Tesla hit that crazy production target?
They did. Those 5 steps, they were key to Tesla cranking out 5,000 Model 3s a week. Musk's bet wasn't just some ego trip. It was backed up by real strategy and innovation.
And he gets that massive payout, becomes one of the richest dudes on the planet. But was it all about money for him with Tesla?
I don't think so. Tesla's success proved electric cars could work. It challenged those big car companies and really kicked off the whole shift to sustainable transportation.
So in a way, he was also betting on the planet's future. And this brings us to his other venture that sounds like it's from a movie, SpaceX. Colonizing Mars, that's the goal, right?
Yeah, SpaceX is all about making humanity like a multiplanetary species. And the key to that is reusable rockets. That idea has changed everything about space travel. Before, every launch was a one-way trip, super expensive.
Makes sense. It's like throwing away an airplane after each flight. Not exactly sustainable, but with reusable rockets, those boosters land back on Earth ready to go again. That's got to be huge for exploring space.
Huge. It cuts the cost way down, makes space travel more doable. And that's where Starship comes in. It's SpaceX's next big thing, their spaceship for deep space missions.
Starship, yeah, that name definitely grabs you. Tell us more about it.
Starship is totally reusable, the spaceship itself and its booster, called Super Heavy. It's meant to take people and cargo to Mars and maybe other places in the solar system, too.
Wow, it's kind of mind-blowing to think that we might actually see humans becoming like a multiplanetary species in our lifetime?
I know, right? And one of the coolest things about Starship is how it lands. The booster doesn't use legs. It gets caught in midair by these giant arms on a tower they call the Catch Tower.
Okay, that's straight out of a sci-fi movie. The engineering, the precision, it's amazing.
It's a total game changer, cuts costs even more, and means they can launch again way faster.
So it's not just about building the spaceship, but also how you launch and land it efficiently. That constant push for innovation, that's classic Musk.
Absolutely. And powering Starship is this engine, the Raptor, that SpaceX built themselves. At first, each engine cost $2 million to make. Crazy expensive.
Yeah, that's a lot of cash for just one engine.
Right. So Musk tells his team to figure out how to make them for like 10 times cheaper. And they do it, redesign the whole thing, come up with new manufacturing techniques.
So now a Raptor engine costs a couple $100,000. That's insane.
It just shows how Musk's focus on cutting costs can make these crazy projects like going to Mars a little bit more realistic.
He's always pushing the limits of what's possible, both with technology and, like, with money.
Totally. And then there's Starlink, their satellite internet thing.
Starlink, yeah. Bringing high-speed internet to, like, the middle of nowhere. How does that even work?
They have thousands of these satellites in low Earth orbit. They beam internet down to people on the ground. It's already helping people in remote areas where regular internet is basically non-existent.
So it's not just about space. It's about solving problems here on Earth, too, closing that digital divide.
Exactly. And Starlink is more than just charity. It's a major moneymaker for SpaceX. The cash from Starlink helps pay for Starship and all their other big projects.
Smart move. Use one groundbreaking tech to fund even more groundbreaking tech. That's thinking long term. He's not just focused on today. He's building for a future where humanity can, reach for the stars.
And speaking of reaching, there's Neuralink, maybe his most ambitious and kind of freaky project.
Neuralink, the brain-computer interface company, right? Connecting our brains to computers. It's fascinating and scary all at the same time.
It's definitely pushing the limits of what we know about tech and the brain. Basically, they're making this tiny chip that gets implanted in your brain to, like, talk to other devices.
Sounds like something out of, I don't know, a cyberpunk novel. What could they even use this for?
Right now, they're focused on medical stuff, helping people who are paralyzed move again, maybe even letting blind people see. The potential to treat brain disorders and, like, actually improve people's lives is huge.
Yeah, that's incredible. But I'm guessing there are ethical issues with, like, sticking a chip in someone's brain?
Oh, for sure. Privacy, security, someone misusing the tech. Those are all real concerns that need to be addressed carefully.
Definitely a sensitive area that needs a lot of discussion and careful thought. But Neuralink wants to do more than just medical stuff, right?
Right. Musk thinks these brain chips could, like, boost our abilities. Downloading information directly into your brain, maybe even communicating telepathically. He thinks it's how humans keep up with AI as it gets smarter.
That's a bold vision and a little unsettling, if I'm being honest.
I get it. It makes you think about what it even means to be human as technology keeps advancing at this crazy pace.
So electric cars changing the auto industry, reusable rockets making space more accessible, brain chips potentially changing how we interact with the world. Anything else on Musk's to-do list?
Oh, there's more. He's working on this super fast transportation system called Hyperloop.
Hyperloop, yeah. Vaguely remember that. What is it exactly?
Imagine traveling in pods that go through these tubes with almost no air at over 700 miles per hour.
That's faster than most planes.
It is. Hyperloop could completely change how we travel, get between the cities in way less time. The pods are in these tubes with really low air pressure, so there's almost no friction. And they use magnets and electric motors to move, so it's pretty energy efficient too.
That's amazing. Are there any actually working yet?
Not yet, but there are companies, including one that Musk backs, that are, building and testing them.
Be interesting to see if Hyperloop takes off. It's like Musk has his hands in every futuristic tech you can think of.
He definitely knows how to push the boundaries. Electric cars, space travel, AI, brain chips, and now this. Seems like he's determined to build the future he wants to see.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. His political journey, the whole woke culture battle, his AI fears, Tesla's rise, SpaceX going to Mars, reusable rockets, Starship, Starlink, Neuralink, and now Hyperloop. I need a break.
It's a lot to take in, that's for sure. But it shows just how ambitious he is, how he wants to shake things up in all these different industries.
But what's at the heart of it all? What makes Musk tick? What makes him so fascinating and, well, so divisive?
I think it's that relentless ambition, his willingness to, like, challenge everything, and he really believes tech can solve our biggest problems. He's a visionary, but he's also practical, focused on finding real solutions.
He definitely takes risks, even when it means getting criticized or failing. But what are the consequences of all this? How will his companies, his influence, change the world? It's kind of wild to think how big Musk's plans are, how much they could change things. But like we've been saying, he's not exactly Mr. Popular with everyone. He says what he thinks, and people get upset.
Yeah, he doesn't hold back, does he? His critics, they say he's reckless, arrogant, totally out of touch with, normal people's problems.
And some say that focusing on this futuristic stuff, space travel, AI, that it distracts from the problems we have right here, right now. Poverty, inequality, climate change. Are they right?
It's always tough balancing big, ambitious goals with the stuff that needs fixing today. But I think we got to remember that innovation, it often has these ripple effects. You can't always predict them.
Like Tesla making electric cars cool. That's had a huge impact on climate change, even if that wasn't like Musk's main goal. And Starlink, bringing internet to everyone, that could really empower people, close that digital divide.
Exactly. Sometimes these crazy ideas end up solving real problems. And even if Musk never gets to Mars, even if we never all have brain chips, his ideas are inspiring people. Scientists, engineers, they're pushing the limits of what's possible because of him.
It's exciting, right? The idea of humans living on other planets, it's like this adventure, this exploration, something we've always wanted to do. Break those boundaries.
It makes you realize the future isn't set in stone. We make it with the choices we make.
But even if those big dreams never happen, colonizing Mars, merging with AI, Musk's already changed things. He shakes things up, comes up with new ideas, forces us to change. Whether you like him or not, you can't ignore him.
Nope, he's a force of nature, that's for sure. What he does, it's going to affect tech, how we think about things for a long time to come.
So we've been on this deep dive into Elon Musk's world. We've seen what he's done, where he might be going, and yeah, maybe some of the risks too.
He's complicated, that's for sure. Brilliant, audacious, and we haven't seen the last of him, that's for sure.
It's been a wild ride figuring out this guy. Thanks for joining us as we explore the world of Elon Musk. Catch you next time.